so thankful that you've agreed to join us as an instructor for the International Choral Composers Institute. We are so lucky to have you because you are a star.
No, but thanks for inviting me. That's the first
No,
thing I
it's
say.
like seriously, thank you for saying yes. We just would love to get to know you better today. And so I was just wondering if you could tell all the beautiful people out there how it is that you and I know each other.
Well, we know our connecting fiber is James Green. I mean, I
Yes.
think he was the first person to give me the name. And then eventually I started running into your music. James loves you. And I think he loves everybody, but he really loves you. And I know he loves me, but I know I'm probably down the fourth or fifth after you.
That's
But he
hilarious.
seriously connected us and he's a jewel. That's what I think of with
He is a
James. And so,
jewel.
and
He
then
is
we
a,
have a connection because of
yeah.
things through James. We became more connected. I would not be at Red Publishing Group. I wouldn't be a part unless, James was the person that introduced me to Steve Bach. And so from there, I know you and I have developed a relationship where a few of your pieces are in my series, which
Yeah.
I try to celebrate this life as much as I can.
If you didn't catch that, one of my songs is named Celebrate This Life. So for
Right,
you out there, like, what is he talking about?
right.
No, but Brandon, you have been just such a champion for my work, and I don't even know how to thank you for that. But you're also head editor at Gentry Publications, which is an incredible publishing house under the Fred Bach label. And then you also have your own series with Henshaw Music, which is where they can find Celebrate This Life. So one of the coolest things about having you come to ICCI, other than you're an amazing musician with so much experience and knowledge as a conductor, as a pianist, as an instructor and a professor, Dr. Boyd at the
Oh, Lord.
University of Missouri, but also the fact that you have such close ties. You are the head editor of this publishing house and you understand how the publishing world works, which means these students can ask anything and you are an encyclopedia of how to be a published known choral composer, which is the goal for all of the folks who are coming, with the exception of our lyricists. Obviously, we have lyricists coming too, but
Yes.
you can be a connection for them as well. Can you talk to us about your composer journey, how you started and how you got to here?
Yeah, well, composing was never anything I ever thought I would do, but I will never forget the day I was in chamber choir at Florida State. My teacher at the time, Andre Thomas, had a piece that he said the day before because I worked in the choral office for him. And I remember him saying, I got to go home and write this piece. And in my mind, I never conceptualized someone writing a choral work overnight. So the next day, he came into class and it was a Thursday. He said he was going home to work on it. It was a Friday. He came in and just passed out this score of I Just Come From the Fountain, an arrangement. And we read through it. And I'm like, when did you start this? And he said the day before. And I couldn't believe that. That was literally a little moment of mine, like, what? And that same Sunday, I went home and went to church and I was playing the piano at church and the church didn't start on time. And so I took a little motive from something that I heard on the way to church and I was just doodling it at the piano until they start, just developing it, changing keys, blah, blah, all that stuff. The lady came up to me afterwards and said, is that written out? I said, no, I'm just making it up. She's like, you need to write it out. And I'm like, I don't know. I never even thought of how to do
My
that.
God.
So with all that being said, I went to Andre Thomas that Monday. This is from Thursday to Monday. That Monday, I said to him, I'd love to take a directed independent study with you.
God.
And he took me as a student formally the next semester, but he said, I want you to write something. And I'll never forget, I wrote a piece called Jacob's Ladder. And, he went to Namibia that summer. And he said, I'm taking this piece to Namibia. And he
Wow.
took that piece
Oh my
out
God.
arrangement and they performed it in Namibia. And he sent me a record like that. It was just those little moments and opportunities where
Yes.
if I hadn't had that, I probably would have skipped over this interest. And so from there, I published a few pieces and my most recent work is one I don't want to say most proud of. I'm very proud of though.
Oh.
And that's Redeem the Dream, which is honoring the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. And it's the work that is Langston Hughes
Mm.
created the text, and it's a lengthy text, and it's about a 30-minute work for full
Wow.
orchestra, chamber orchestra, or piano, bass, and drum. And it will have its premiere next year. And hopefully there'll be over 250 performances of it. So I'm very excited about that.
Whoa, congratulations.
Thanks.
Oh
Sorry, I
my
guess
gosh.
just like my one kid, my first, well, not
That's your
first child.
baby.
This might be a twins or
Congratulations. That's a big, big deal. And it's with orchestra. Or
choir, and a
wow,
few narrations that will come within the choir,
that's
and a few
amazing.
solos that will come within the choir.
Living the dream, right?
We're trying to redeem the dream. That's what we're trying to
I love
do.
it.
Right now, that dream is kind of foggy, but we're trying
No,
to do what we
you're
can.
no, how incredible. And Andre Thomas being a part of that picture. Like he
Hmm.
is, a legend and will always be a legend. So feel so fortunate to have come across his path. Talk to us about your current gig. Like, what is it you're doing now?
Well, I teach at the University of Missouri, and I'm the director of choral activities and also the director of the graduate choral conducting program,
Right.
which is a special treat. I mean, I really do love my job. I love my students, and I think I've shared with a close friend right before this call how much I love my
Yeah.
job, which is really working with conductors who obviously have to choose repertoire. So making that a part of my mission and be sure that they get a vast variety of repertoire that they constantly see. And how do you choose repertoire? How is it going to benefit the singers? How is it going to benefit the audience? And I think that is probably the part of conducting that people think is just, oh, that just happens. No, that's really where you spend most of your time.
Right.
Then you get into after you've chosen a repertoire. And how does the repertoire come? Through composers. So that's what excites me so much about this opportunity is if we can aliven something in composers to understand what it is that conductors are looking for, because that's who brings your music to life. I think that we can probably make a deeper connection between the lyricists, the composer, the conductors. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Just bring it all
Yes.
together.
Oh my gosh, Brandon, right? I'm so excited too about ICCI just because it's an opportunity to merge together all of these people. Usually they're composers institutes and they do all the things like educational and even performance, but they don't bring in publishing houses or representatives to talk.
Yeah.
That's the part that a lot of people are missing,
Yeah.
especially the composing students I've talked to who study composing university level. They're like, yeah, we don't know how to even start. We don't even know
I
what they're
hear it.
looking for.
I hear it every time. And I teach choral arranging at my university, which is great because that class
Right.
is a mixture of undergrad who might be public school teachers, who might need to
Hmm.
arrange. I mean, everything in my class starts with creating a warm up, modulating from one key to the next,
Wow.
creating an accompaniment that's
Yeah.
basic enough for you to read if you're not a pianist, all the way
Yeah.
to taking a full arrangement of an SATB and making it an SAB, or taking an SATB and making it an SSA. Just what are the choices you
Right.
make? You choose music, but you choose it because someone else made the choices. Now let's backtrack and really get into the decision making that happens.
I feel like I want to take that class, by the way.
No, you don't, because
I
it's so
want
many in there sometimes. I really like it to be smaller, but it's a big class. And that's why we wanted to do it every fall. So everyone could, like, I could have graduate students
to.
in one section and maybe undergrads in the next. But
Right.
it is great to have all levels of writers in the class because they can help each other. And that's what I
Yeah.
think is best. Like, stay open as a writer. Never get closed that I'm the best
Hmm.
writer. Never, because there's an insight from someone out there who might have
Exactly.
influence. And, like, who says your
Yeah.
music's good? Someone chooses it to conduct it. That's a little validation. They're saying that I trust you. I trust you
Absolutely.
with my time because I have to teach this. And then I want
Hmm.
my students, my singers, my friends,
Yeah.
whatever, to having a great experience and to be changed and transformed educationally, but also spiritually. These are ways in which we can't explain through words always. So,
And that's the biggest compliment, right? To have
mhm.
somebody say, I love your work enough to take it on, study it, prepare it, conduct it, perform it. These are things that I still can't believe people are choosing my song. I'm like, pinch me again, please.
I
Like,
love it. I
it
love it.
just feels crazy to me, but
You're one in 68 million pieces in the world. I'm sure you know what I mean. And
I
they
know
chose it.
that's crazy. You were mentioning about how you love working with those composing students and are helping them learn to arrange and collaborate. You said though you wish it was smaller numbers, but guess what? ICCI is smaller numbers.
Yay! Yeah, because you
Yay!
can spend more time with every
You
person.
can, you
And
can.
they have to, and I could come back the next day, I hope, and say,
Yeah.
I thought about that even more. Let's keep that F
Hmm.
sharp. Let's move the D now, because sometimes you think
Yeah.
about what are you trying to get? Is it harmony? Is it rhythm? Is it
Right.
texture? What's the big it? Something has to take
Exactly.
predominance.
I want to be your student now. Like
Oh,
when
no, you don't.
you're amazing. Um,
You need to be teaching these classes.
Oh
And
my
yeah,
gosh. Well, listen, I am teaching people, but
great.
I love to work with beginners. And so my students are more like just getting their feet wet. Your students, some of them are getting their feet wet. Some of them, really, I'm surprised they're not already published. We have
Sure.
so many students that when I looked at their work for their audition, I'm like, why are you not published because some of it was so impressive. I am so excited for you to work with them. I'm wondering what you're most excited about for ICCI.
I love meeting students who are interested enough to take this leap of faith and to like come to a conference, be a part of a conference, and really, really want the
Mhm.
feedback because I think the feedback is what is so important. Meaning, I could take it doesn't mean I have to do what you said, but I can take
Right.
it. And it's almost to me, it's an analogy I think of when someone is handing a pamphlet on the side of the street.
Mhm.
It's just easier to take it than to
Yeah,
for
just
me
take it.
just take it no matter if you find the closest boom. But sometimes you might be missing out on something that's
Right.
incredibly great or transformative.
Yeah.
And I often think of these opportunities as I'm going to meet someone that probably will stay with me for the rest of my life, or I will
Aw.
know, or I will meet, or I will be influenced by the other teachers.
Yeah.
That's like, think about that. That's I'm going to hear
Incredible.
something. I'm going to hear something from somebody else or a student or see something or read something. Or I'm looking through a student. I'm like, I want to steal that idea, because that was good.
I love
But
it.
I hope
Like,
they see that too.
yeah, exactly. And if we steal from you, we will credit you and copy.
I understand that. Thank you.
I'm teasing you. Listen, we borrow from each other all the
All the
time.
time.
And I think that music doesn't exist in a void, right? Like
Yep.
every note that I ever come up with is influenced by somebody else and is
Yep.
influenced by pop or R&B or whatever I listened to when I was a kid. And that's the beautiful thing about music is it doesn't exist in a space by itself. It exists
It
because
doesn't.
we create it together and for each other. Brandon Boyd, like Doctor that you
Oh Lord.
yes, like thank you.
Thank you for asking.
It's gonna be awesome. I hope that we can have you back every single year. If you love it, you are welcome every single year because we hope to do this again and again. Thank you so much for your time today and
Thank
for
you.
saying yes. And we are so looking forward to having you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking me.